Hello, I'm Melanie Farkash with Psychic Grannies, a Sunday afternoon drive. It was December 1993 when Jerry came to me and asked, "Let's go for a drive. It is such a beautiful sunny day." We hadn't seen one another in a while, so I figured this would be a fine time just to communicate. Jerry had been working long hours and a lot of overtime in Malibu because of the fire in November. I too have been working long hours at work and taking care of my other businesses. I said, "Sure, where are we going?" He drove down west on Moore Park Avenue, heading for the beach. He said, you've never been on Los Postos Road, have you?" I said, "No." We went on this winding road and my motion sickness was getting worse. The switchback curves were terrible, but at least there was no sign of rain. We had been getting showers for a week, and Malibu was really getting hit hard. The fire we had in November left the hills without any vegetation to hold the rocks and earth, so there were many slides. Finally, we got to the end of the road. Jerry turned left onto Pacific Palisades Highway. He pulled over to the slow lane and drove about 30 miles an hour, which was very strange for him. All of a sudden, I started to feel very weird. I started to see visions of rain, wind coming down in front of me. I grabbed Jerry's arm. I felt like I was on a roller coaster. He kept driving. He kept saying, "What do you see? What do you feel?" We went by some houses and I screamed, "The house is falling. I see rocks coming down the hill. They are going to hit another house." I put my arms across my eyes so I wouldn't see the rocks hitting the house. We then came up to a road, Latigo Canyon. Coming down from the hills, I saw mud coming down the road. I yelled, "Stop the car. The mud is going to hit us." Jerry kept driving. He turned to me and said, "Mel, there is no mud." I looked at him like he was mad. "Can't you see it? Can't you hear it?" He said, "No." He finally pulled the car over to the side of the road and stopped. "Mel, are you okay? You look like you're going to jump out of your skin." I put my face into my hands. I closed my eyes, hoping that when I picked up my head, all the visions would be gone. I picked up my head, and all I could see was rain. I told Jerry, "We should get out of here before the rain gets worse." He did not argue. He started the car and drove very fast. I kept seeing houses with great damage, hills with holes and large potholes in the road from the rain. I looked up when we got to Topanga Canyon and saw a water tank bursting and water coming down. When we got to Santa Monica, I screamed, "The houses are going to come down with the cliff." I was crying. I was freezing cold. Jerry took the Ocean Drive up to the top of Santa Monica so we could get off of PCH. Jerry said, "I'm going to take you to the Boar's Head restaurant in Santa Monica for dinner. I promise I will take the 405 freeway home." I smiled and told him that it would not change what is going to happen in Malibu. The rest of the month there was torrential rains in California. Malibu got hit very hard with mud and rock slides. The cliffs of Santa Monica did fall, and unfortunately many houses were damaged and destroyed. Then in January we had a major earthquake. Jerry was called into work the morning of the earthquake. He had to weld up a leak in a 1 million-gallon water tank at the top of Topanga Canyon. Later that day, Jerry went up to the top of Malibu to see the damage that had been done. An old lady who lived there came walking down the canyon and saw Jerry. She waved to him and with her arms stretched out, offered Jerry keys to her house. She said, "The earthquake split her house in half and she can't live there anymore." She was leaving and she was giving Jerry her house. Jerry said, "Thank you, but no thank you." He then gave the lady a lift to the Red Cross station that had been set up for victims. Many homes had lost due to the fire in November, the rains in December, and the earthquake in January. I was afraid to drive on PCH and did not until 2006 when I moved to the South Bay area. Explanation. Augury is the general art of divination, which is applying chiefly to interpretation of future based on signs and omens.